Hello and welcome to Dauntless Back to the Beginning Episode 2. Previously, I got to experience the intro and many of the UI tips for the first time. The last thing I did before stopping was take down a lesser Embermane, so today I'll be picking up where I last left off and continue my journey. Also, I want to point out I did reset my character again, just to make sure nothing has changed since the last time I was on. Once I logged back on, an info card popped up that briefly explained what I needed to do next. So I jumped back into the Slayer's Path, unlocked the second main branch, then unlocked both the weaponsmithing and the 2 new islands I was able to access. I then decided out of nowhere to fiddle with my character for a couple of seconds before running over to Will's and accepting some of the quests he had available. Luckily, I was able to craft the Embermane weapon on the spot without needing to head to Emberthorn Cove, and once a few more quests were completed, I was asked to venture out to the Beryl Outpost to slay 3 behemoths. Upon accepting the quest, I was immediately brought to the Slayer's Path, which placed me on top of the node I needed to unlock. At first, I wasn't sure why the game forced me to do this, but looking back, this was a great idea to keep players from getting lost in the menus and to show everyone what to do next without needing to read the info cards. Now that I was ready to go, I grabbed my Embermane sword and made my way over to the Beryl Outpost. Now that we're back in town, I made my way towards the daily coin toss, which, by the way, make sure you are stopping by this since this does give you bounty tokens and login cores, and this over here is one of the many core opener posts you can find around Ramsgate. The reason why I bring this up is because opening up certain cores will earn you things such as in-game currency, patrol keys, and cells. Anyway, I'll explain about these things a little later. On my way over to the armorsmith, I accepted the quest to craft the Boreas armor, which I had all the materials on hand once again to craft all the armor. Next, I quickly gathered all the quests around town, geared myself up with the newly crafted armor I made, and then I took a trip to the Restless Sands to take down a lesser Drask. And arriving on the island, I stumbled across an ongoing island event nearby. For those that don't know about these events, they are special events that are super helpful for getting cores, cells, aether sparks, merits, and much more, so make sure you complete them if you see one on the island. And even if you fail the event, like unfortunately what happened here, you'll most likely still be able to get some rewards from these events. After the Drask I failed to kill during the event, it took a few minutes for me to find another one, and fortunately this one I come across was by itself. Gotta say, after watching this hunt, I need to work on dodging behemoths at slower attack speeds because I am overcommitting like crazy. Alright, now that Drask is down, I made my way to the Iron Falls to pay a visit to Skarn. Now that Skarn is down, it was time for me to head back to Ramsgate once again. I collected the next batch of quests, opened up some cores, and I tried to make a mix armor I felt would last me for a bit. My main focus on the build was attack speed, since of course I am more comfortable at higher speeds. Shortly after, I realized I needed an Embermane part, so I jumped back onto the Restless Sands, slayed an Embermane, and crafted the last piece. Okay, before I go any further, I think it's time to explain a few things about cells and perks. Most of the armor pieces you'll see will already have perks built into the armor piece, but as you can see, there is also a strange icon next to each armor, weapon, and even most lanterns you'll come across. These strange slots are called cell slots, and depending on the icon will determine what kind of cells you can put into the armor. Cells, like I roughly mentioned before, can add new perks to armor or even increase existing perks. All of the perks on the armor will be displayed on the right, and if you highlight a perk, you'll see what kind of stuff you'll gain, depending on the level the perk is at. There is a limit on how high you can go before it becomes pointless to add any more points into that perk. Every perk stat currently will max out at +6, so when making an armor build, make sure you do not exceed +6 to keep the build optimal as possible. Alright, I can go into detail more about perks, but for now we'll save that for another video. Alright, let's move on. Next, I opened up the Bounties tab and completed one of them, which by the way, bounties are very good for leveling up your weapon skills, earning merits, and even leveling up your hunt pass. After spending some time in Ramsgate, I eventually made my way back to Iron Falls to level up so I can progress further into the Slayer's Path. Eventually, I unlocked the next branch in the path and gained access to the areas I needed to take down Charog and Shrike, which I will do in the next episode of Dauntless Back to the Beginning. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in Dauntless.